Friends, do you remember when America put heavy tariff trade taxes on India? Do you remember when they thought they'd dominate the global markets without India? But today that same America is regretting its own decisions. I ask you, isn't this destiny's justice? Do you think the world can run depending on just one country? Or does justice always find its own way? America believed it was the greatest, the most powerful. They put a burden on India's trade, imposed tariffs, blocked opportunities, and thought India would bow down. But did India bow? Did Bharat give up its identity? Or did it rise even stronger in front of the entire world? Friends, let's talk about one of the biggest turning points in recent history. When America tried to harm India by imposing heavy tariffs, trade restrictions, and unnecessary economic barriers. At that time, America believed it could dominate global markets without India. They thought that by squeezing Bharat, by putting weight on its shoulders, they could weaken it, control it, and bend it to their will. But the truth is, history has always shown that those who try to suppress the voice of justice, those who try to suppress the progress of others, end up harming themselves in ways they never imagined. When Trump announced those tariffs, the world looked on with shock. Why target India? Why place barriers on a nation that was only seeking fair partnership in trade? America's leaders thought they were protecting their own industries, but in reality, they were planting the seeds of their own struggles. Imagine this: a single decision taken in pride, without foresight, can destroy millions of jobs, destabilize markets, and throw entire nations into chaos. That is exactly what happened. India, at that moment, could have bent. It could have accepted defeat, lowered its head, and begged for relief. But did it do that? No. Bharat chose resilience. Bharat chose patience. Bharat chose strength. And that is why today we stand in a world where America regrets its arrogance while India shines brighter than ever before. Think about the mindset behind America's actions. They believed that they were the greatest power on earth. They assumed that without their approval, no nation could progress. They thought tariffs were weapons of dominance. But what they forgot is that arrogance always blinds judgment. They underestimated India's capacity for endurance, for innovation, and for growth. They thought India's progress depended on them, but India's strength has always come from within: its billion dreams, its unstoppable youth, its culture of perseverance. Now let's look at what happened after those tariffs. American dealers, businessmen, and ordinary citizens began to suffer. The very policies meant to protect them turned into chains that restricted them. Goods became more expensive, partnerships were lost, unemployment began to rise, and markets started collapsing. American companies that had relied on India's growth and affordable talent suddenly found themselves trapped. And then the complaints began. Business leaders stood up saying, "Trump made the wrong decision. We are paying the price." Do you see the irony? The attempt to harm India ended up harming America itself. This is destiny's justice, because the world is not meant to run on the arrogance of one country. No single nation can dictate terms forever. Justice has its own way of balancing the scales. When America tried to push India down, that weight shifted back onto their own shoulders. And the world saw the resulting frustration, loss, and despair among the American people. Friends, when you look deeper, there is a lesson here for all of us. Every arrogant move, every decision based on pride rather than wisdom comes back like a boomerang. It never spares the one who launched it. Trump believed he was protecting America's interests, but what he really did was isolate America from the very partners it needed the most. And India India didn't respond with anger. India didn't waste time shouting. Instead, it focused on growth. It expanded to new markets, strengthened ties with Europe, Asia, and Africa, and invested heavily in its own industries. While America tried to close doors, India built new ones. And today, who is stronger? The answer is obvious. India turned the storm into fuel. Every barrier became motivation. Every attempt to harm became an opportunity to rise higher. And this is not just politics. This is the story of life. Whenever someone tries to stop you, you have two choices: break down or rise stronger. India chose to rise. And that is why the entire world now sees Bharat as unstoppable. Now let me ask you, can a single leader's mistake destroy the future of an entire nation? Can one decision made in pride throw millions of lives into darkness? The answer is yes, and America has seen it firsthand. Trump's arrogance scarred his own people. The tariffs didn't just hurt India, they created pain within America's borders. Farmers couldn't sell, traders lost money, businesses collapsed, and workers lost jobs. When a leader forgets that leadership is about responsibility, not ego, the whole nation pays the price. And this is exactly what we witnessed. Meanwhile, India became stronger because it relied on its greatest weapon, patience. Bharat understood that storms eventually pass. The nation didn't beg for mercy. It simply waited, worked harder, and grew silently. And when the dust settled, the truth was undeniable. India had not bowed down. Instead, it had risen higher than before. Friends, ask yourself this: isn't this the real definition of strength? Strength is not shouting the loudest. Strength is not using power to dominate. True strength is standing tall when the world tries to push you down. True strength is refusing to bow even when the odds seem against you. And India showed the world this strength. Today, even America has had to accept reality. It has rolled back those tariffs. It has extended its hand once again, seeking friendship with the very nation it once tried to hurt. Do you see the balance of destiny? The arrogant must eventually lower their head before the patient. The oppressor must one day respect the oppressed. Because arrogance never lasts. It burns bright for a moment like fire, but patience flows steady like water, and water always outlives fire. This story is bigger than politics. It is a lesson for every individual, every leader, every business, and every nation. Never let arrogance guide your choices. Never believe that crushing others makes you stronger. The truth is, the more you try to suppress others, the more you end up suppressing yourself. India's story is a reminder that justice may take time, but it always comes. America's attempt to harm Bharat only proved to the world that no external force can stop a billion dreams. And that is why, today, the tables have turned. America struggles with regret, while India marches forward with pride, dignity, and vision. Friends, history will remember this chapter not as America's show of strength, but as India's show of patience. It will remember how tariffs became weapons that backfired. It will remember how arrogance met humility and lost. And it will remember how India proved that standing firm, believing in your own power, and refusing to bow can turn even the darkest storm into the brightest sunrise. So the next time you face barriers in life, remember this lesson. When people try to stop you, when the world tries to put weight on your shoulders, don't break. Stand tall like India. Keep moving forward with patience, with courage, and with vision. Because in the end, arrogance never wins. Patience always does. And that, my friends, is how America tried to harm India, but ended up harming itself. Today, America is helpless. It is ending those tariffs, trying once again to hold hands with India, because they now understand without India, their journey is incomplete. I ask you, can any global market move forward without India? Can anyone stop the strength, the vision, the hard work of Hindustan? Trump, the one who was filled with arrogancy today, regrets his decisions. Today, the American people are questioning him, and he has no answers. But the real question is, does regret bring time back? Can lost wealth, lost jobs, lost opportunities be recovered? Or does a mistake forever leave a scar on history? Friends, remember this: Hindustan does not stand on anyone else's support. It stands on its own hard work. Today, the world knows that stopping India is impossible. I ask you, are you proud of your Hindustan? Do you believe India's time has come? And are you ready to raise your voice to show your passion and to tell the world loud and clear that Hindustan is second to none? Friends, history has shown us again and again arrogance never lasts. Empires rise, but when they forget humility, they fall. America thought it could silence India, but can the voice of truth ever be silenced? India stood tall. It did not bend. It did not break. Instead, it created new markets, new partners, new opportunities. And today, the whole world looks toward India. But tell me, can the light of progress ever be stopped by shadows? Every nation that underestimated India has faced the same reality. The strength of 1 billion dreams cannot be crushed. The vision of a new India cannot be ignored. And now America, too, has learned this lesson. I ask you, isn't this proof that determination is stronger than any barrier? Trump's policies were built on pride, not wisdom. And when pride speaks louder than sense, destruction always follows. His people trusted him. But what did they get? Loss, unemployment, isolation. So tell me, should leadership be about ego or about responsibility to the people? Today, American businessmen are standing in court fighting their own government. They say Trump made the wrong choice and we paid the price, and the truth is clear before the world. But I ask you, can justice ever be hidden for too long? Friends, India never sought revenge. It only stood firm. But destiny itself brought the scales of justice back in balance. Now the same America that once imposed restrictions comes forward seeking friendship. I ask, isn't patience the greatest strength of all? Look at the world today. Technology, medicine, markets, innovation. India is everywhere. From Silicon Valley to space, from business to culture, India is rising. And no one can deny it anymore. But tell me, can the future of the world be built without India's contribution? Trump may regret now, but regret cannot erase the truth. The truth is India has emerged stronger. The truth is the world has accepted India's power. The truth is no one can ignore Bharat. So I ask you, isn't this the time to believe in our own strength? Friends, let us not forget every challenge is a test. Every barrier is an opportunity. India faced a storm and turned it into fuel for progress. So tell me, doesn't struggle always create strength? And now America extends its hand again. But this time it is not India who is desperate. It is America. It is not Bharat that needs them. It is they who need Bharat. So I ask you, isn't respect earned only when you stand firm on your values? Friends, the future belongs to those who never bow down. The future belongs to those who turn pain into power. And India has proven itself to be that nation. So tell me, isn't it time we tell the world proudly India is unstoppable? Friends, when a nation realizes its mistake, it is already too late. America's regret cannot erase the years of loss it created. But India's patience has turned that loss into power. So tell me, isn't the one who waits with courage always the true winner? India's strength is not just in its economy. It lies in its people, its culture, its unity. No tariff, no tax, no restriction can ever break that. And the world now understands this truth. But I ask you, can anyone defeat a nation whose power comes from its people. Look around today. From technology to medicine, from defense to education, India is leading. Even the biggest powers now seek India's partnership. The tables have turned and history has spoken. So tell me, isn't this the moment when India shines the brightest?